Now that just went from 0 to 100 rather quickly, like, the violence in this episode, damn, I did not see all that blood, the violence, the gore, just everything at the end of the episode. I did not see that coming at all. Like, episode was rather peaceful. It was a peaceful episode. I mean, there was a little bit of a dispute between the two commanders and all that, but I mean, it was a peaceful episode. It was a mock battle. Ending part of the episode comes around and I'm like, am I watching the same show? Like, am I legit watching the same show? Because the overall tone, the change of the tone at the end of the episode was just like, damn. So, yeah, this episode, I think my favorite, yeah, my favorite. The end-alone ending part of this episode is just, it's too good. The animation quality and the art on that final scene, oh my. That was something else. Probably by far the best animation and art we've seen from this season, or this series yet, not season, but this series yet. And the way it was first person, I really like that little detail that Studio Madhouse added into this episode. So, I was quite a fan of this episode, so let's dive into some of the details. The commander that was betraying the princess, it was going to do some very bad things. When he was pretty much about to get killed, or he was put up with a sword next to his neck, and he was about to be killed if he tries anything, when that man straight up yells, he fucking yelled to scare his opponent. It was like a battle cry. It was something you see from like a game or something, like where a barbarian or something will roar to do a battle cry and he stuns his opponent. When I saw that, I'm like, yo, this man just straight up did a battle cry, fucking scared everybody, turns around and puts his hand, his entire fucking palm of his hand on her blade and slides it. Yo, my God, that's some savage shit. Like, that is some savage level shit right there. Like, oh my God, that man straight up grabbed that fucking blade straight through his hand. Oh my God, I don't even want to imagine how bad that hurt. But that man didn't give no shits at all. He was just going on and does a battle cry like a fucking barbarian, turns around, gets the fucking blade straight through his hand, puts her to the damn ground. It looked like he won for a moment. Oh my God, that man was a beast. Even though he died in this episode, and he's GG as a character, holy shit, what he did was badass as fuck. That was a really badass moment for that character, just doing shit like that after you thought he was probably dead as fuck, or, you know, he was going to die right there, and then how he turned that around, I just, damn, that quick shift of tone of this episode, I completely like. So what is this episode about? Before I get into the violent sections of the episode, like the final parts, what was the first part of the episode about? Well, it pretty much concludes the mock battle of what's been going on since last week's episode, and as we all expected, Ikto, he won. He beat the shit out of the enemy, the pretty boy, and beat the crap out of him. He's GG when it came to the mock battle. He was outsmarted in every different way, and the man completely lost all dignity and all hope. He even was pretty much crying at the end of the battle because he realized how bad he is as a commander. So I do like seeing that type of direction, and overall the outcome was to be expected, and I did like to see, you know, our main character's actual wit and tactics throughout this entire battle, how he goes about it in a way that's very smart but lazy at the exact same time. And I really like his speech. That was something I was actually kind of amazed about. This character that seems to be lazy and all that, and we've already kind of found out a little bit about his personality, he says a speech in this episode that really is inspiring, but it shouldn't be. He says that, you know why humanity has progressed so much? It's because of how lazy they are. And I'm like, what? How does humanity progress if they're lazy? And then he started bringing up some pretty valid points. Like, for instance, why do you think, the well was made? I mean, there's probably other reasons why the well was made, but still, he has some logical points to it. I mean, a well being made allows humanity to be a lot lazier. They didn't have to walk down to the river and collect water. They just had a well right there near their house, and that was easy access. Or, how certain other things are made. It's really crazy when he was bringing up some of these topics of why certain things are made. It's kind of like making humanity humanity to be able to kind of laze about, I was like, damn, this man makes a pretty damn good point. I mean, he makes a very good point. And when he brought up tactics of how, like, you know, it's better to be against a 3v1 instead of having just by yourself fighting 3 people, I mean, that makes common sense. Like, that's common sense. You should want that type of situation. But there's many people in the world that feel like if they're by themselves and they see like a group of 5 people, that if they win against them, they're like, fuck yeah, this is amazing, I'm a badass, I'm a hero. And the main character's like, no, I don't want heroes in my fucking platoon. Fuck that shit. I want people that are smart and lazy. For instance, people that rather have the number game and win against all odds. For instance, someone that will actually win against an opponent because of them being smart. For instance, he'd rather have his team actually overcome his enemies through numbers and being able to kind of be a little bit less effort added onto it. Like, I mean, if you have one person fighting 5 people, that one person's gonna have to just, you know, make up for the lack of not having people with him. But if you have multiple people with you being able to take down one guy, the overall project or taking that person down is going to be rather easy. It's like anything in, you know, humanity, what we do. When you have multiple people working on one thing, the progress of it is done rather quickly, and then vice versa if you're by yourself. If you're by yourself, it takes a lot longer. And so seeing something like that, the main character makes very logical points about the entirety of how he views his tactics and why his platoon should not have heroes. Now, getting into the second part of the episode, there is one thing about this episode I'm really not a big fan of, and I got to mention it. The princess. I'm not a big fan of damsel in distress type characters. I'm just not. When a character is constantly being captured, not just once, but multiple times in the span of only 4 episodes, it's time to stop. It's time to fucking stop. The princess was already in trouble in the first 2 episodes, and then, now this episode, yeah. I'm not a fan of characters like that. I've never been a big fan. And I mean, over time, I've grown less a fan of it. For instance, in the past, about a couple years ago, I could deal with it. But as time continues to move onward, and I continue to watch anime, and I continue to see, you know, these type of tropes, I'm not a fan of characters that are just there to cause drama. I'm not a fan of those type of characters. I'm not. And seeing the princess and the way her character is already being designed in these past couple episodes, all she's there is to cause trouble for the story can actually move. For instance, in certain ways. The princess gets in trouble, she gets captured, and then the main character has to go and save her. And I'm just not a big fan of the princess right now. If there's anything I'm not liking about the series, it's definitely that. But overall, besides that, however, I do love everything else, especially our main female character, and getting to see her perspective after she slaughtered everyone around her, seeing how she was barely being able to hear anybody, like the voices were a lot lower than normal, and how she was, you know, reacting after killing everybody, how she just smelt metal, she had blood all over her, everything. Just getting to see that type of trait of her character adds a very interesting characterization to her, you know, overall demeanor. Because, I mean, for her to act like that after killing people, there might be room for some certain interesting character development for her in the near future, depending on what we see fleshed out from the writer. So yeah, overall this episode, I enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.